Shares of Boeing under pressure today. Airplane sales are surging, but Boeing is again delaying the release of its 777X model. It is 7 years behind schedule, almost $16 billion in total charges here. Justus Parmar, founder and CEO of Fortuna Investments, joins us now to talk about this. Thanks for joining us today.
Marla, so nice to see you again.
Is it certification that's dragging out the process?
Well, I mean, it's a couple of things. I mean, I would preface it that, Kelly Ortberg, the new CEO, newish CEO, I think he's been in the helm for maybe a year or so time. He inherited quite the mess. And what I would say is I think he's done a great job given the mess that he's inherited. I think it's indicative of the stock chart that you just showed. Year to date, the stock is up. Airlines are a very, very tricky industry, and I think Kelly has done a relatively good job of navigating that. The stock is up year to date. They've obviously had a big miss here on this quarter, but that was largely due to the delay in delivery of some of these planes.
Okay, so it's also accrued almost $16 billion in charges. Is that unusual, that amount of charges we expect, but $16 billion for?
Well, it's not a small number, whatever way you cut it. I think the important data to look at in the quarterlies is the free cash flow. I think the free cash flow is up. And then the other line item that really sticks out to me isn't necessarily the $16 billion, it's the $100 billion. And then that $100 billion is the current backlog of interest of people looking to buy aircraft. And I think that's largely due to, originally, keep in mind, Morella, when the current US president, when he got into power, he originally was very anti-Boeing. He was publicly in the media. He was really upset about his own aircraft that he put the order in during his first administration that was yet to be delivered, that was very backlogged. And so as investors, everyone was kind of cautious, saying, which way is this company going to go? Because you don't want to be in the president's crosshairs, as I'm sure we all know as Canadians. But Kelly Ortberg was not only able to navigate out of that, he also basically convinced the administration and the president to help get them new orders in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. And that accounts for a lot of that $100 million backlog. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you can dissect some of these numbers on the current balance sheet or the current quarter. I think fundamentally the company is in relatively good shape over the long term because of the administration, the support of the administration, and the $100 billion backlog of Boeing airplanes.
Okay, let's get to the Federal Reserve rate cut today. Is it still labor you think that is driving this from what you heard from Jerome Powell?
A couple things. I think, I'm not the only person out there saying this. I think that he was too late in bringing them down. They were artificially high way too long. I think now we're finally seeing that easing cycle. We've started to come down. I think that we are going to see at least one more cut relatively soon. I predict next year we're going to see a full basis point cut. I think that is tremendously strong for the American economy because America is booming right now. The stock market's at all-time high. The corporations, including Boeing, with the exception of maybe today's print, are doing very, very, very well. There's $20 trillion worth of investment that's coming into the country. And so the setup is fantastic. The only thing that was a little bit off was, are the rates coming down? And I think the answer to that is unequivocally yes. The rates are starting to come down, and it's going to allow the American consumer to borrow more money at a lower percentage, and it's also going to help this $37 trillion of debt that's on the balance sheet. So it's actually the perfect setup, as it's going to be a great stimulant to the economy. And Morella, I don't know if you saw it, but that last GDP print in the country, it was about 3.8 or 3.9%. That's outstanding. If America can grow at 3.8% moving forward, that $37 trillion worth of debt won't matter so much.
Okay, I do want to get you on for AI, which is driving much of the market growth. NVIDIA hit $5 trillion in valuation, only a few months after hitting $4 trillion in a valuation. Let me get you on whether or not you think we're in a bubble for AI.
It depends on how you look at it. So if you're trading it, maybe sort of, but we're fundamental long-term investors at Fortuna. We strategically look at asset classes. We invest for the long haul. I don't think so. I think it's extremely expensive. It's obviously the most expensive company in the entire planet. I was asked on this program earlier this year what I thought of NVIDIA when it was trading at 100 or 110 bucks. It's a one-of-one company. I don't think anybody with a sane mind thinks AI is not the future. This is unequivocally the leader of companies. I'm not saying go buy it at the all-time high today. I would recommend wait for pullbacks. But if you believe in AI, and the godfather of AI, Jensen, he's got such a moat around his business. They're doing $100 billion of cash flow. Think about that for a second. $100 billion worth of cash flow, and nobody can keep up. Statistically, if a company is able to get such a head start the way they are, it's very hard for these generational companies, being Microsoft, being Tesla, being Amazon, Facebook, the likes thereof, to actually fail. So they've got a lot of things working for them. I'm not talking about trading. I'm talking about long-term investing.
All right, Justus, I do have to leave it there. I'm out of time. Thanks for your time today.